Hello, everybody. This is Beth Worsdell, author, and welcome to the Witty Writers Show. And I'm so excited because I've got my very good friend, Tirza Schaefer. Hello, darling.
Hi, so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my God. I'm so stoked because we connected quite a while ago now, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
This is actually the first time that we've ever been able to do something together.
Yes, it is, isn't it? And I'm so happy that we made that at last because we're having so much fun in private. So why not have, let people have part of it and have a laugh as well. So
we're just spreading the writing love, Tirza. We got Stephanie who's joined us. My gosh, she was quick.
Oh, awesome.
She was straight on there. Look, she says hello.
She's always there. I mean, such a great supporter.
She's an absolute angel. She absolutely is. We've got quite a few people that have already joined us nice and quick. So say hello, everybody, to myself and Tirza. It's been a manic last year, hasn't it? I mean, my gosh, so much has happened for you. It's you're blowing up, Tirza. In a good way.
I wish that would translate to finances as well, but that can still count.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah. Well, just having fun, really, and so I don't know how this is all happening, but it is, and I'm really grateful for it as well. So, and I'm meeting so many wonderful people. It's amazing. So kind, supportive, fun, and really cool.
I think it makes a big difference, Tirza, when people like you and I and Stephanie and Starla's just joined us. Hello, Starla. I'll pop your comment on in a minute. It makes a big difference when you are super positive, especially now with the pandemic as well. I think people really do need that feel-good feeling, don't they? And us as a group, we're constantly sharing each other's work, creating positive posts that make lots of people feel good.
Such a great, absolutely. And the thing is, it's like we all have problems, of course. We all have like days where we feel off and all the rest of it. But for me, I have to say, the lockdown that we have here in Germany, which is quite severe, is it's a curse and a blessing at the same time. So I've had a lot of downtime with my daughter, my little one who's still at home. The other two are out of the house already. So we bonded a lot over that. And we've become like really a dream team. She's 13, so she's in that phase where she's like, having that development from childhood into adolescence. She's developing a really cool, sarcastic and dry sense of humor, which I absolutely love.
I wonder where she gets that from, Tirza. I wonder where.
I don't know.
Oh, that's so lovely. I think it's wonderful when your children are at that age and they're so enthusiastic about everything, and they're becoming aware of everything, and it's just a beautiful time, isn't it, that you can share with children.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had Blackpink in concert. That was her first concert, like online, because all the events are cancelled in real life. So I've been telling her about my first concert, which obviously wasn't online. So we've kind of, she loves to hear the stories of old and all that, and she's a bit of an old soul as well. Like we call her Little Buddha. My friend in the UK coined that phrase that we, go and visit when we can. And so, that's great fun. She's one of my favorite people to be around. It's not like, like you love your children, but sometimes it's like you just want to get away because they're just so obnoxious. And she's actually cool to be around. At that age, that's not normal, So sometimes I worry.
I think that's absolutely lovely that you have such a good relationship with her. And I think it's so cute that you call her the little Buddha. Now, I've got a confession, Tirza. I know you mean little Buddha as in, she's you know, an old soul.
Right, so, yeah.
However, when I was pregnant, I actually looked like Buddha. I seriously did. I swear to God, because I was a bit busty. You couldn't see where my bust ended and my stump and my bump started. I swear to God, I needed a crane just to turn over in bed.
I was like that. I really put on weight, but now I'm just starting into menopause. So it's like being pregnant on a higher level. It's like I put on weight, I'm sweaty.
Right. I've been there. I've done it. It's not fun. It's not fun. I do. I'm just gonna grab my nose.
Life, you know, that's the real stuff. So yeah,
it's all real life here. We're all human, and we all have to deal with stuff. I've got a load of comments coming through.
Let me see.
Starla says, "Hello, writing family." Oh, she's so lovely. And I hope you're feeling better, Starla, because Starla's not been very well. I did see that, and I hope she got my little message. But I hope you're feeling better, darling. She's a fighter. She is a fighter. Stephanie says, "Oh, thank you. I've been waiting all day." Oh, she's lovely. I think she's excited, bless her. Joyce has joined us. Hi, Joyce. She says, "Hi, beautiful Beth. Always such a pleasure to see your smiling face. So thankful I caught this." Joyce, Tirza, Joyce is absolutely amazing because she's battling cancer at the moment. So lots of feel-good vibes to you, darling. And
absolutely, from me too.
Healing vibes to you. Anthony has joined us. Could that be a relative to Stephanie? I wonder. I recognise that photograph from a Valentine's post yesterday. Thank you for joining us. Autumn's joined us. Hello, Autumn. How are you doing? I've got to quickly give Autumn a shout out because she's about to release a new book called
please do. How
it's
interesting.
Goddesses Inc. And I'm super excited because it's about more badass women who literally are goddesses that have been turned human and they have to find their way. So I'm super excited about that. I'll give her a little shout.
That's great. Yeah.
Leslie has joined us. Hello, Leslie. She's another fellow author. Leslie says, no matter how much we adore our kids, there's such a thing as too much togetherness.
Yeah. True. We can always shut the door on each other, so I think that helps.
Oh my gosh, she's so true. True. Stephanie says, you guys are making her laugh. We all need a giggle now and again, don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Josephine says, hi, honey, I'm late, but I'm here. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Now, Josephine is another very funny lady, and I actually surprised her today. She was messaging me, and I decided to call her, and we were both like tears streaming down our faces. Starla says, thank you. I am doing much better. Oh, that is such good news. Absolutely good news. Autumn says, thank you. Oh, you're welcome, darling. And Stephanie's like, So I reckon that is our hubby. Wanda's just joined us as well. She says, hello, lovely ladies. Hello, Wanda. Stephanie says, good vibes to you, Joyce. Oh, she's so lovely. And Starla says, go Autumn. I love badass women, goddesses. Yes. Now, I've got to say, you've always been very passionate, haven't you, Tirza, about people, as in reality and fictional, who have good positive traits like loyalty and being heroic and putting other people first. I think that's absolutely amazing. Do you think that your spirituality and your attraction to those type of people have played a big part on your books?
Definitely, yeah, because that's part of who I am, of my own, really, my personality makeup, even as a child, because I'm a Scorpio, so I'm very black and white, and I actually had to learn that there are shades of gray, like growing up, and that nobody is perfect and like all good all the time or all bad all the time, things like that. So which also helped me not to judge myself too harshly.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, I was a total perfectionist, and then I thought, I was never good enough because I could never like reach that 100% high level, But it's definitely had a profound effect on my writing, because it's also I've like everybody else, you get betrayed, you get let down by somebody in your life at some stage, a couple of people, maybe friends, maybe family, whatever. But when you live through that and you look at it and you go like, that's not who I want to be ever. And that's not the kind of people I want to have in my life anymore, so you go and find people who are more on the same wavelength, who have that kind of decency and honor ingrained in them, in their character.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, Stephanie's fabulous. She's such a positive person, isn't she?
Absolutely, yes.
And so optimistic. It's just refreshing. It really is. Now, so you're another author who wears so many different hats. I mean, you're a spiritual coach,
yes,
a romance writer, with many subdivisions, because some of them are quite hot and steamy.
Well, all of them really, but some are even more steamy than others, but they're all steamy.
I know. Honestly, I think it's absolutely fantastic, because it's real life at the end of the day. When you talk about romance, especially new romance, it is hot and steamy.
Well, if you're lucky.
If it's not, you're with the wrong person. Oh my God. Oh, that's how I ended up with 4 children, Tirza.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh. But you actually published your first book in 2015, I believe.
Exactly, yes.
And I believe you're also in the same situation as me, because you've got a minimal budget and trying to do everything as much as you can for yourself.
Yeah.
Do you find that the resources were readily available to learn and to figure out everything that you needed to do to publish your own books?
They're probably there, but first of all, I'm not so good at research, or I wasn't, obviously I learned a lot along the way, but also I'm not one who's really good at kind of learning things from YouTube tutorials and that. So I always found it easier with somebody explaining that to me face to face, and, or online, like we're talking now, but actually having a proper conversation about it with somebody in interaction. So that that kind of made it more difficult for me. I'm not so intuitively a technician, like with all the IT stuff or whatever. So when I first started out, all I could do was type in text into Word.
Yeah,
I couldn't format. I didn't know anything about that. So.
It's one big learning curve, isn't it? Because I'm in the same boat.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. And it's like it took me like 2 years to learn how to do my own website and all that. So I did in the end, and I'm quite proud of what I've achieved there. And it's a really big one with lots of free information on there as well. About my books, about a lot of spiritual subjects as well. So it's definitely worth giving it a browse, if you're into literature or spirituality or both, like me.
I looked at your website and I was on there for ages because it's so good. It's a beautiful website, but you're right. There's so much different information on there to do with your books and the spirituality side. It was just refreshing. It really, really was. And I'm an active viewer of your Tirza bookstore. on Facebook, which is a Facebook page, and I have actually included all your links, so everybody can check out all your different links. They were absolutely
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a lovely group. I love it as well because we've got a lot of interaction in there, and it's not too restrictive, so people can, you know, also post their own books and things, you know, because my motto is the world is big enough for everybody to shine.
Yeah.
Now, I want to bring out new talent, you know, and or people like other talents, let's put it that way. You don't have to be new to be there, you know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you're absolutely right. You know, the way you think about things is spot on, because if we help lift each other up, we only need one of us to be really massively successful to help lift the rest of us up. So it makes sense to pass on that positive.
Yeah, and we all get a wider audience that way if we share each other's stuff, you know. People might not like my romance novels, for example, but they might like my spirituality. But if I, for example, post something of like a fantasy author, let's say J.C. Seal, you know, with the Angels and Demons trilogy, there's been a lot of people who've been really latching onto that book and going, you know, in the spiritual community, and they've never really reacted to my books. So but for them it was perfect because they're all into fairies and angels and things like that, you know. So they were like, yeah, let's get that book, you know. So that is brilliant, you know. And she shares my books as well, so maybe somebody on her social media is gonna have a look and think, oh, that looks nice, you know, let's try that one. So and in any case, I've helped a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not even counting things up, you know. It's different if you have like takers who just never give anything, and that's really mean. But let's not talk about those ones. We don't block those, like they're not part of our reality.
Mention those. Well, we got so many comments here. I'm gonna.
Go on.
I'm going to quickly get through to these comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joyce says, it's wonderful to hear you both and love hearing you laugh. Yes, we all need a giggle. Amen to that.
Yes.
So true. Oh, no, I don't need that one. I don't know who that was, but thank you for sharing. Okay, let's have a look. So, oh my gosh, that person's getting everywhere. Every time I try and click on another comment, that comes up. Okay, Balash White, thank you for commenting, darling, but please stop. You're spamming. It's not professional. We don't like it. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can. There we go. Okay. Sir, you are now vacated the building. Okay, sorry, I'm literally having to look through his comments now because he's been spamming to get to other people's comments. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. We've got Edward's joined us. Saw us earlier today. Yes, you did, Edward, because we was chatting to Stephanie quickly. Oh my gosh, what is all this? Oh, look, we'll just take a break. Stephanie sent us a love heart. Thank you, Stephanie. We need that. This is the first time I've been spammed while I've been live.
Well, that means you are actually deemed worthy of, you know, having that attention.
It must mean something, Tirza. It must mean something.
Next level of success.
Stephanie says, if it ain't hot and steamy, run.
You.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Theodore has joined us. Thank you, Theodore. It's lovely to see you. He's a big sharer and supporter. Starla says, amen to that too. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, this guy, I hope he's completely blocked now because he's driving me nuts. Autumn says she loves your author positive attitude. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now you've done quite a varied. We were talking, you know, about your various romance books, but you've also written poetry as well.
I have, yes.
I
My
think
first book was a poetry book, actually. Yes.
Was it really? That's
but I've unpublished it ever since because I've written so much poetry ever since, and then I split up the poems that I had in that book into spiritual and romantic ones. And let me just show you that came out of it. So I've got to, there you go.
I absolutely love your covers. Honestly, I think every single one of your books is just so beautiful.
It's a sweet
the
thing.
images, the images just stand out completely. There has to be something said for having a white background and then your image just popping out from the page, from the
because the thing was, I was trying to find my own style, and I have to do my own covers because I don't have the money to have a graphic designer, and I'm writing on my 31st book now, so you can imagine, you know, I can't have a cover designer, you know, which is really expensive for all of those, and I wanted to have like a streamlined thing so you can like it's a branding thing as well, isn't it? So, you know, out of necessity, I made like something out of it, and I thought, okay, let's do it as a branding thing. We've got the white covers. I just put some symbol in the middle, and that's it. You know, so that kind of stands out, and everybody who sees that will know that's my book.
It's ingenious. It really, really is, and it's something that I've touched on before with, you know, within the Writers Rock group. And, you know, doing marketing videos and everything. Any image like that you own, you can literally put on any product and have merchandise to go with your books, can't you? So what you've done is ingenious, because you can have any merchandise with your images on, and you're not having to pay any illustrator a royalty for that. You own it.
Depends what kind of license you have, I think. I haven't looked into that yet, but that would be the next step for me as well. I've been thinking about that already, so I'm kind of starting to look into that. Let's put it that way.
I think it's wonderful. I really, really do. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, we've got some more comments. Oh, there we go. So Edward says, I live in Vegas, don't need any spell like that. He's responding to that guy. I agree, Edward.
I've got 2 books that play in Vegas. So.
Leslie says, do you use oracle or tarot cards to help you plan your writing? That's a very good question.
Well, actually, I don't, but I did have, you know, because most of my romance are military, so I did have at one stage I sat down, okay, I need to have something different now. And I just started a meditation into going into where is my next book going to be set in. And it was Bulgaria. I got this voice in my head that was just saying loud and clear, Bulgaria. And I was like, you know, I mean, I've grown up like, you know, I was born 71. So I was like, I've grown up with the Iron Curtain, and that was still in my head, really. So I've never looked behind that much, you know, and I didn't know anything about Bulgaria because the time I grew up, it was always like, they've got nothing, there's nothing there, don't go there, you can't even travel there, kind of thing, you know, you're not allowed in. And so, you know, that kind of stays with you if you don't actively break that curtain, you know, rip it down into shreds. And so I had no idea, and I was like, are you fucking serious? Bulgaria, I have no idea. And I was like, this voice was going again, Bulgaria, like.
Interesting.
So that's where Balcony Above the Sea came in, and that actually played in Bulgaria. And that was an author who just wanted to get away from London, and she, you know, she was stuck in a rut, and she didn't have inspiration anymore and all that. So she decided just to book like a month's holiday somewhere, get a cheap apartment. And what she found was like a little apartment in Bulgaria. But she had no idea when she booked it anything about the country. So that was kind of making fun of myself being so ignorant at the time, you know. And I just kind of dropped her off the plane, and she didn't even know they had a different alphabet there.
So, I can't even imagine the amount of research.
That was a lot. Oh my God! Yes, yes. Also, there was a time, you know, in when there was this big event. I think it was world championship football, soccer thing, you know, or something like that. But anyway, it was like all about, in the media, it was about gay people being arrested because that's against the law. So they're being thrown into prison and all that. And Bulgaria is next to it. So I thought, let's see what their laws are on LGBTQ rights and that, you know. So luckily it's not illegal there. And they can't get married, you know, they don't have gay marriage, but it's not illegal to be gay, luckily, but it's a very traditional country, and a lot of people, they have a very high suicide rate of young people being thrown out by their family and being disowned and all that, you know. And I used to live in London in the 90s, and I used to have a lot of gay friends and that, so I've seen that kind of heartbreak face to face. Like, I've had people in my arms, like big guys crying in my arms now because I hadn't seen their families for years. Wow. So that's a big thing that really goes to my heart because of my personal experience as well. So I've put in a character of the male lead. He has a sister who's a lesbian, and she lives with her life partner. And so, you know, so that kind of thing gets woven into it a little bit, like on the side, you know. It's obviously it's a straight romance, but that's being brought in as well. So, you know, I like to put more layers into my writing, you know. So there's a lot going on, like beneath the surface as well.
I think that's absolutely wonderful, Tirza. I honestly do, and I wish more authors had the courage to put real life into their books, especially about the LGBTQ community, which my daughter's part of. My daughter has friends who are still trying to figure out their own sexuality. Some of them think that they are gay or bisexual, and so many of them are too afraid to actually communicate with their parents about it. So for you to put it into your literature and actually, you know, bring it out in the forefront, and it is normal to feel that way, is normal to love either sex is normal. And I think
that's how I brought up my kids as well. And my son once came home a couple of years ago and said, you know what, my best friend, he just came out and he told me he was gay. I was like, oh God, the poor guy. Did he tell his mother yet? Because I know his mother was quite conservative. And well, when he told his mother, she said, you know, we can go to church. They have courses there to help you. And the best comeback her son gave was, Mom, I'm gay. I'm not fucking children.
Oh no, boy, it's crazy.
It's Catholic, right?
It is crazy.
And it's a big thing here about the Catholic Church and the priests, like, you know, molesting children and all that. That's a really, really big thing, and the hush up that went around it. And it was such a great comeback as well. And I was so proud of him, you know. I told my son, I said, tell him I'm really proud of him and I love him to pieces, you know. So what they do now as well, that group of friends, you know, they go out in the straight scene and they go out in the gay scene together. So it's equal for everybody, you know, so everybody gets a share. And my son doesn't have problems, you know. He just goes in and he said, well, I'm straight, but I'm with my friends. So, and then he goes and dances and flirts and whatever. He doesn't care. He's, you know, because he's comfortable with his own sexuality, and, you know, he doesn't have problems with anybody being different, you know. So
I wish more people were like that. You know, acceptance is everything, isn't it? We can't change who we are. We just accept it and try and find our own happiness.
Exactly, yeah. So that's how I brought up my children, you know. And I said, whatever happens, even if you make a big mistake, I said, the three of you can't make so much shit up as I did in my life together, you know.
If only they could be a legend like you, Tirza. I'm sure they don't even lose half of it.
You know, half of it at least I wouldn't want them to go through, but
oh my God. I'm going to put some more comments on, darling.
Yes,
let's have a look. Okay. So Leslie was asking about the tarot cards, etc. And I think Ed would say no, Seagram 7. might be the only spirit that you communicate with.
I do use cards and things, but just not for my writing. So
yeah, absolutely. Joyce says, "Wow, Tirza, that's amazing. You're doing your own covers. 31st book too. That is absolutely wonderful."
Oh, thank you.
That is so lovely. And Starla said, "Great question." So she's very impressed there. Leslie wants to know, do you find inspiration in dreams? Beth knows why I asked this. So just so you know, Leslie and I both wrote our first books from dreams, like really.
Okay.
So if you had the same situation where you've had a dream, that's
no, it's actually more the other way around. That when I'm writing, I'm dreaming about it, but not like I'm dreaming and I'm writing about it. So.
Oh, that's interesting you say that, actually, because I recently interviewed a lovely author called Jerry, and that's what she does. If she has, if she gets a bit of writer's block and can't work out a scene, she'll go to bed thinking about it and work out the scenario in her head, and play it over and over until it works. Is that something that you do as well?
I spend a lot of time in or on my bed, let's put it that way, also because I've got a bad back and I have to kind of change from the chair to to others, like around, because I can't stay in one place for too long just because of my physical condition. So I do spend a lot of time in bed and or sitting on it, and but it's really, sometimes I actually tell the the unadult version to my daughter, the little one, because she's very creative as well, and she writes and thinks of stories and that, and I just run the storyline by her, and like the last one I did, A Very Little Christmas, I told her about that, minus the adult bits. And she was like, "That's a really great story. Why can't you make that as a kiddies book?" And I'm like, "No, I've written one for you already, so that's it."
Well, maybe you could do what I did, because I was torn between writing for adults and writing for young adults, and I wanted to do the adult book, but I also wanted to write a book that would connect parents with their teenagers. Yeah. So I ended up doing the 2 editions. So my books are exactly the same story, but with or without the naughty bits. So they get a choice.
Yeah. Well, with the bear story, it's Bear Shifter. So that doesn't really work so well, because the whole hinging point of it is that they're having sex to kind of undo a spell.
Oh, yeah. not for teens.
Yeah, no. But it's also, I don't know, I'm doing so much for my children in my real life. It's like the writing is like my thing. It's like there are other people who write young adult and that kind of stuff, and I don't really have to, It's like, I like the steamy romance stuff. I've always written steamy, even as a teenager I started already, so just for myself,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my passion, and I'm spending enough time on young people outside of my writing.
I know the feeling well. I'm sorry, I keep having to wipe my nose, but
please. Yeah,
it's allergies. Can't control them. They're out of control though.
Good.
Leslie says, she says, sometimes your subconscious knows, even in Bulgaria.
Yeah, that actually ended up to be my favorite book for a long time, until I wrote Tank. So
amazing, isn't it? And talking of Tank, it's Tank has just had a book birthday.
Yes, the first birthday. So here we go. That's Tank.
I love the cover. I love Turtle.
I was searching so long for that, and when I saw it, I was like, "That's it," because he's of Samoan descent as well, and so that's why I chose that. And I love water, so the turtle is a great theme. I've also got, if you go to tirzaschaefer.com/turtle, you can read up on turtle as a power animal. And I want to have it here above my heart, like, you know, up here as a tattoo one day as well.
It's absolutely beautiful. And I've got some good news for all our viewers, because Tirza is actually doing a giveaway. So what we're doing, as always, if you share Tirza's interview everywhere, tagging either myself or Tirza, so we can keep, well, mainly me, so I can keep tags, but Tirza as well, so she sees. But if you share Tirza's interview, you'll get entered into a draw to win Tank.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Yeah. And while we're at it, I'm just seeing the last comment by Leslie, which of your books is your favorite, Tirza? And that is actually, as we're on it, this is Tank. That's my favorite, because that's the reverse harem. There's 3 guys and 1 woman. So the woman is in her 40s, the guys are in their mid 30s. So there's a reverse age gap, but it's not like too pronounced. And out of the 3 male characters, the one called Tank, there's also Dom and Seb, and the one called Tank is actually the one I've written for myself. So, you know, if I could make myself a man, the way that would be perfect for me, that is Tank. So, you know, usually I've kind of always tried to make the characters fit together like couples. So, you know, like if you had like, for example, with Izzy, is another book of mine. She is a family person. She's got very much of the Italian and Irish side, like where the whole family always gets together and does things and whatever. So she has 3 boyfriends, and they're very boisterous and loud and that, and she loves that. But then there's Ria, her best friend, and she needs to have a lot of peace and quiet. So she's got one man who loves that about her, you know, and actually likes this kind of, you know, drama-free, you know, being around her and all that. So, and this caring that she has, and this quiet attitude, because, you know, he comes from a broken home and his mom was really off the rails, and so he loves that. So I'm always seeing that the characters kind of fit each other, you know.
Yeah.
And that's yeah. But Tank is mine. Tank is the man on my heart.
I love it. So, and don't forget, the more times you share Tirza's interview, the more entries you get. So you can share the interview on any book groups that you're part of, book clubs. As long as you tag myself and Tirza, you will be entered to win her Tank book. That's
absolutely. And if you share on different platforms, you know, send us the link, Beth or me, and you know, we throw that in as well, of course.
Absolutely, because you're like me, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
In a nice
it has to be nowadays, isn't it? You can't just go like, I'm writing, leave me alone. I mean, you have to do your social media stuff.
Exactly. Now, the winner from the last interview with Elliot, the winner who wins an ebook from Elliot is Marina Sardarova, and I hope, Maria, that I've pronounced that correctly. But I will also announce it on Elliot's videos, so I can tag you and tag Elliot and get you connected, so you can get that. So congratulations, Marina. Well done to you.
Congratulations.
I know that it's so lovely, isn't it? It really is. And I know that your winner is going to be absolutely thrilled to bits. Okay, now let's have a look. So Starla says, yes, those stories with the LGBTQ community are needed and helpful. That's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely. And she said, thank you for raising such open-hearted children. Great job, mums. The LGBTQ community needs all of this. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that things are improving. You know, there are less negative people out there than there were before, and with, you know, gay marriage and everything else, it's become more accepted, and I love the way that things are changing. Sometimes it just takes too long, doesn't it, for people to change? But it's a generational thing, like everything else.
And the people who are not changing, and they're so fixed in their heads and so prejudiced, at least they don't have that power anymore.
Yeah,
That is important. They don't have this power anymore over the lives of others just because they're devoid of their own humanity. And that, that's just, they shouldn't hold any sway over anybody else's lives.
No, absolutely.
I feel very strongly about that. Very.
Edward said, all of my novels are from dreams. Some call them nightmares. I've had some dreams that I just don't want to put in a book. I've got to be honest with you. I'm not that confident. And it's funny because my son has night terrors.
Mine did as well when you were small. It was always with the monsters.
I think it's just a really active imagination and an active brain, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah. Some authors have made a really good living out of it. Some things you just don't want to put in a book, do you? Or tell people about it.
Yeah. It's like so many people say, when are you going to write your biography? And I'm like, never. Because there's also stuff that it's not my place to tell, but it influenced me in my development a lot. That happened with other people, and that is like it's not something I'm going to make public, like a lot of things. So
yeah, exactly. Things we want to keep to ourselves.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make money on other people's misery or something.
Exactly.
In some cases.
Leslie says, sometimes if you ask your characters how they're going to figure this out, they will tell you in dreams. That's an interesting aspect.
I've never had that, but like with Rhea, the characters kind of totally took off on their own and did a completely different story than I had planned, and it worked even better in the end. So it was like, that kind of took over.
It's amazing, isn't it? I'll tell you, being an author is the only time you can actually communicate with people in your head and not get committed.
Well, actually, Rhea's love interest, Jordan, is getting committed.
Oh, my God.
I think that was me kind of doing the subconscious workout of my, which I had the year before in 2019. I had a burnout, a very severe one. And, I was basically what I call brain dead or mentally disabled for a year. And I couldn't read, I couldn't write, nothing, because I couldn't put the packages of information together in a coherent kind of structure in my head. And, lots of crazy things happened, but I did a lot of Reiki meditation and all that, and I took the time. So I went all about this, like, okay, this is my priority goal now. I have to get better. My children need me. And I went through it. And after half a year, I was off the medication. And my doctor said to me, you're at a point now where other people are, if they're lucky, after 2 years. So I'm like, yeah.
That's amazing. Honestly, Tirza, that is amazing. My grandmother had a complete mental breakdown when she found my grandfather had passed away. Unfortunately, she was the one that found him. But I mean, we were talking back in the 70s, and unfortunately, there weren't treatments that there are now. Back in the 70s, they were still doing electric shocks and all that sort of stuff.
Oh God!
She never recovered. But as a child, it gave me the true insight of mental illness, because half the time she didn't know who we were, didn't know our names, didn't want us near her. Being open about mental illness, especially now with the pandemic, is super important because so many people are being affected.
Yeah. And it's so important to actually take time for self-care, for mental self-care as well. And I can't stress the importance of meditation enough. And that's nothing to do with spirituality or anything. That's really of personal mental hygiene. Yeah. And it helps with writing, with everything else as well, because it helps you focus and, not have your mind all over the place. Anything that you do, if it's school, if it's learning, if it's writing, anything else, so that will always help you in any phase of life. But I had my 13, my daughter was 2 years, she was only 11 at the time, and she's very small and petite, so, and she was dancing in front of me, and she's the sweetest, like a little angel or fairy, and she was dancing in front of me, and I actually had started to get like anxiety attacks, and I had to ask her to kind of, have a bit more distance. I didn't want to ask her to stop dancing, of course, because you can't ask your child not to dance. I mean, so and I was like, no, I'm a rebel as well. So I'm like, I'm not giving into that, face the fear and do it anyway. So I said, can you just step back? And I explained to her how I felt. And I said, it's not your fault, but you can help me a little bit, but keep on dancing. She said, I can stop if you're afraid, Mama. And I said, no, don't stop, because that's going to make it worse. And you do not have to suffer more than you already do through my condition, so I'm still the mother and I still have to be strong for you. So as soon as that changes, if I can't do that anymore, if I can't take proper care of you, that's the time we go and find somebody to look after you. Well, I'm getting better, but we went through it and we did it and came out the other end very well.
I think that's lovely. I think it's lovely that you explained it all to her in a way she could understand. So she empathise with you and help you heal. And
I'm such a big fan of being honest and open, because I grew up in a very different way where everything was fake and hushed up and like just make it nice, polished and shiny to the outside. And it was just about what the neighbors thought, basically, and I could never stand that. And I was always feeling like we're lying about things, and like my own perception isn't valid or something. So I know my parents wanted to protect me from a lot of stuff, but there was also a lot of stuff they wanted to protect themselves from, because they didn't want to face it. And so that made me really strongly believe in being open. There are things that I don't tell my children when they ask me about it. I said, I can't discuss that with you because that's an adult thing, but I tell it like this. I don't tell them, no, it's nothing, and lie to them, because that would tell them your perception is off.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't believe in their own intuition anymore. And that can do all sorts of damage,
Yeah.
So
I absolutely agree with you on that. I think it's much better to have an open and honest relationship, because then your children can literally go out into the world armed with the knowledge to deal with those situations when they arise. It makes a massive difference. It really does. I'm going to try and quickly get some more comments in.
Yeah, sure, please.
Before we finish off. Leslie, she's already asked you about your favorite book. Gina's joined us. Hi, Gina. And Josephine says she has Tank, and now you've just enticed her to bump it up her TBR list.
That's good. Just in case you want to take part anyway, I can also, like, if you should be the winner, don't stop sharing just because you think you've got the book already, but you can have a different book then if you have that.
Oh, you are so lovely. You really, really are.
Like, for example, you could have Izzy. That's the one I just mentioned quickly before.
Beautiful. It is
the
beautiful.
Italian Irish one.
All the books are beautiful. Leslie says, ooh, sounds intriguing. And Joyce says, well, heck, I've already shared. Nice to know that we can share to win Tank. Oh, she's so lovely. Josephine says she won it last week, and it's going to the top of her list without a doubt. We've also got Joyce. She says these books, the books these amazing women have written, with lots of love hearts. Oh, she's so lovely.
Oh, thank you.
She is so lovely. Teresa Miller has joined us. Hello, Teresa. Thank you very much for joining us. And she was saying amen to all our positive talk. Edward wants to know, have you ever killed off a character that you know could sell you more novels? So have you ever killed off a character just just because you know it will get a big reaction and sell more books?
No, I haven't. I've never actually been so strategic. I've just gone with my intuition, and I've actually only now started writing in series, like last year, and before it was all standalones, really. So, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And good news for our authors that have joined us today, because Amazon, if you're an Amazon publisher, you can actually link all your series now and have control over it. So,
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait around, which is fabulous. Where's it gone? I just saw that comment. There we go. We've got Andy who's joined us from Skyline Frankfurt in Germany.
From Cologne. Köln.
Thank you for joining us, Andy. And Gina says, "Hey y'all." If she was Southern, she'd go, "Hey y'all." I get used to doing that. I could not do it. I'm really
in Colorado, I think, Gina, if I remember correctly.
Oh, bless her. Now, you were saying earlier about power animals and things like that, and I am all about things like that, Tirza. I'm especially fascinated with our ancient civilizations because they really had whole cultures about it. You take the Egyptians with cats.
Yeah.
They were cat worshippers. They believed that they were true spirit animals.
Yeah.
And I believe that you actually rescued, I wrote this down so I didn't forget, an Arabian meow
cat, yeah.
Yeah, cat from Dubai. You are so lovely.
Well, I wasn't the one rescuing her, but the people who do, and then they kind of find adopted parents over here. They've got a couple who helps them finding adopted parents for the cats. And I wanted to actually first have an Egyptian one, but I didn't find one. And then I came across, while I was Googling online, I came across this ad on eBay, and they only take money for the vet and the transfer by plane. So they're doing it really out of charity. Wow. And we got Tani, and she's a crazy cat. She you can keep your food on the table unattended, she won't touch it, and she talks all the time, so it's like very uncat-like in that respect, but in all others, she's just amazing. And I do have, I'm very close to Egyptian deities as well. So I've got a statue of Anubis and one of Bastet beside my bed. And so Anubis is actually my closest spiritual guide as well.
That's just amazing. I'll tell you, you and I are so similar. We need to talk more, Tirza. We do.
Absolutely. Anytime. I'd love to.
Oh my gosh. Tirza, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been an
absolute
darling. You really have. You're fascinating. There are comments that are still coming through and some that we didn't manage to get to, but don't worry, everybody, because Tirza can see all your comments and reply to you, so don't worry.
Yeah, I will get back and go through the entire thing and do one by one everything.
Oh, wonderful.
So if you always do, definitely. Yeah, if you give me your time, the least I can do is give you mine, isn't it? So
thank you so much, John, because we have viewers that watch us live, but we also have lots of viewers that watch when they finish work or the next day if they're already in bed, depending on time zone. So if you could keep an eye out for the next few days to see any comments, that would be
thank you, Jean.
Brilliant.
Talk,
it's so lovely. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us. A massive thank you to Tirza. I love you to bits. You're absolutely wonderful.
I love you too.
And don't forget to share Tirza's author interview video so you can enter the giveaway to win a copy of Tank. Can we have another quick look at your book cover?
Yeah, at that beautiful cover. Let me just...
There we go. Share, and you could literally put a beautiful book. Look at that. It's stunning. It's stunning. Thank you so much, darling. And hopefully we'll be able to do it again soon. We'll do it for your next book release. How's that?
That'd be lovely. Yeah, the next one is actually, this is a trilogy, so the next one is book 2 that I'm writing on at the moment. Yeah, so.
So excited.
And if you go to my website and go to the Seals in Spain page, that's under the romantic books. That's actually here. Seals in Spain is this trilogy. And if you go there, there's actually already an excerpt from Dom, which is the second book that I'm writing at the moment. But I've also already taken a bit out and put it there to kind of whet your appetite.
She's just a tease. She really
is. Well, you love you so much.
Thank you, my darling, and we will see you again soon, my love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. See you all later.